The leather chair creaks beneath me. Expensive sound. The kind of sound that reminds you you don't belong. My work boots leave dirt marks on the Persian rug. Nobody says anything, but I see Jennifer's eyes flick down, see that little wrinkle of disgust between her perfectly shaped eyebrows. The law office smells like money, mahogany and brass and furniture polish. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook downtown, the kind of view that costs more per month than I make in a year. Mr. Patterson sits behind a desk the size of my truck bed, gray suit pressed sharp enough to cut bread. My cousins fill the room like they own it. Maybe they do now. Jennifer perches on the edge of her seat, Chanel suit, nude heels, diamonds catching light every time she moves her wrist. She hasn't looked at me once. Marcus slouches in the corner, checking his phone, cufflinks glinting. Rolex. The real kind, not the knockoff I got at a pawn shop 10 years ago and wore until the band broke. Uncle Robert sits closest to the desk. My father's brother. 68 now, face gray, breathing heavy. Heart problems. He flew in from California for this. First time I've seen him in 3 years. First time he saw Grandpa in 5. The envelope sits on Patterson's desk. Cream-colored paper. Thick. The will. I shouldn't be here. Should have stayed home. But something made me come. Maybe obligation. Maybe the small, stupid hope that Grandpa remembered me. That 43 years of showing up meant something. 3 weeks ago, I found him in the barn, face down in the dirt wrench, still gripped in his right hand. The old John Deere tractor stood over him like it was keeping watch. I knew before I touched him. You know death when you see it. But I knelt anyway, took his hand, still warm, not warm enough. I stayed there holding his hand until the paramedics came. Told him I loved him, even though he couldn't hear. Told him I was sorry I didn't get there sooner. Sorry I let him work alone. Sorry for every damn thing I ever did wrong. The funeral was 3 days later. Everyone showed up. The cousins who hadn't called in years. The relatives who thought the ranch was beneath them. They cried into monogrammed handkerchiefs. Said beautiful things about a man they barely knew. I didn't cry at the funeral. Couldn't. Just stood there watching them perform grief while mine sat inside me like a stone. Now Patterson clears his throat. Time to begin. Thank you all for coming. His voice carries that smooth lawyer quality. Years of practice making bad news sound civil. I know this is difficult. William was a remarkable man, was. Past tense. Grandpa reduced to past tense already. Shall we proceed with the reading? Everyone nods except me. I'm watching dust particles float through the afternoon sun. Thinking about the last thing Grandpa said to me, 2 days before he died. We were sitting on the porch drinking Coors Light from cans, watching the sunset paint the fields gold. You're a good man, Jake, he'd said. Just that. Nothing more. I thought he was just being sentimental. Old man talk. Now I wonder if he knew. Patterson opens the manila folder. Inside official-looking papers. Typed, notarized, legal. I, William Henry Cooper, being of sound mind and body. The formula begins. I've never heard a will read before. Thought it only happened in movies. Turns out it's real. Turns out it's worse than movies because you can't walk out, can't turn it off. To my granddaughter, Jennifer Marie Cooper, I leave my lake house property in Cedar Springs, Montana, including all furnishings, the dock, the boat, and the surrounding 2 acres. Currently valued at approximately $800,000. Jennifer gasps, hands flying to her mouth, eyes wide, shocked. Except she's not. I can tell. This performance is for Patterson. For the record, she knew exactly what was coming. Oh my God, she whispers. I can't believe. I mean the lake house. We had such beautiful summers there. Lie. She went to the lake house twice. Once when she was 12, once when she was 19. Both times she complained about the lack of cell service, about the outdated decor, about how boring it was. Grandpa loved that place, built it himself in 1972. Every log, every nail, took him 3 summers. Now Jennifer will gut it, make it modern, white walls and minimalist furniture, destroy everything he built because she needs it to look good on Instagram. Patterson continues, to my grandson Marcus Alexander Cooper. I leave my investment portfolio currently managed by Thompson and Associates. Account includes stocks, bonds, and mutual funds valued at approximately $1.2 million. Marcus nods slowly, solemn like he's accepting some great burden. But I see it, that little smile pulling at the corner of his mouth. He's calculating already, thinking about how fast he can liquidate, what he'll buy first. Marcus called Grandpa twice in the last 5 years. Once to borrow money for a guaranteed investment opportunity. Once to suggest Grandpa sell the ranch because the land value was too high to waste on farming. Grandpa said no both times. Marcus stopped calling after that. The reading continues, 15 minutes of names and numbers. Aunt Susan gets the Florida condo. 400,000. Cousin Beth gets the jewelry collection. 200,000. Cousin David gets cash savings. 150,000. On and on. Everyone gets something. Nice round numbers. Assets divided like Grandpa's life was just a math problem to solve. My name doesn't come. Not once. The room gets hotter, tighter. I can feel sweat gathering at my collar. My hands grip the armrests. Knuckles white. I'm not sad. Not yet. Just confused. Waiting. There must be something, some small thing. The work tools maybe. The old Ford pickup, something. Patterson reads the last clause. His voice stays level, professional. The remainder of my personal effects and household items to be sold with proceeds distributed equally among the aforementioned beneficiaries. He closes the folder. That concludes the distribution of William Henry Cooper's estate. Silence. Complete silence except for the sound of traffic 17 floors below and the pounding of my heart in my ears. Nothing. He left me nothing. 43 years. Every summer on that ranch from the time I was 5. Every weekend helping him fix tractors and mend fences. Every Christmas Eve sitting by the fire playing chess while everyone else was too busy. The last 2 years living in his house, bathing him when he got too weak, feeding him when his hands shook too much to hold a spoon, sitting with him at 3 in the morning when the pain got bad and he couldn't sleep. Nothing. Jennifer shifts in her seat. I catch her looking at me. That expression. Pity mixed with something else. Vindication, maybe. Like she always knew she mattered more. Always knew she was worth more. Marcus is already typing on his phone, probably texting his wife, telling her about the money, making plans. Uncle Robert stares at his hands. At least he has the decency to look uncomfortable. I should leave. Should stand up and walk out with whatever dignity I have left. But I can't move. My body won't respond. I'm stuck in this chair, in this room with these people who just inherited my grandfather's life while I got nothing. Not even an explanation. Not even a note saying, sorry, Jake, but you were never really family anyway. The lawyer starts gathering papers. Meeting over. Everyone can go spend their inheritance now. Then Patterson pauses. His hand hovers over his briefcase. Actually, he says slowly, there is one more item. Everyone stops. The room refocuses. Patterson reaches into his briefcase, pulls out a different envelope. This one isn't cream-colored. It's old, yellowed with age, sealed with dark red wax. The kind of wax seal you see in movies about the old days. My name is written across the front in Grandpa's handwriting. The shaky letters he made after the first stroke 3 years ago. Jake Cooper. Not Jacob. Not my full legal name. Just Jake. The way he always said it. William gave me this letter 6 months ago. Patterson holds it carefully like it might disintegrate. He was very specific about the instructions. It is to be opened and read aloud only after the official will is read. Only in Jake's presence. 6 months ago. When Grandpa could still walk without the cane. When he could still drive to town for coffee. When I thought we had more time. A letter, Jennifer's voice cuts through sharp. That's it. Not even a car. Her tone says everything. Poor Jake. All those years and he gets a letter while we get millions. Patterson ignores her. He's looking at me now. Direct eye contact. Something in his expression has changed. Respect, maybe, or curiosity. Would you like me to read it aloud, Jake? Or would you prefer privacy? My throat is too tight to answer. I manage a nod. He breaks the wax seal carefully. The red wax crumbles. The envelope opens. Inside 3 pages folded together. Yellowed paper covered completely with Grandpa's handwriting. Every inch filled with words. Patterson unfolds the pages slowly. His eyes scan the first lines. Something shifts in his face. Surprise. Maybe more than surprise. He glances at me again, then at the others, then back to the letter. Shall I begin? I nod again. Still can't speak. Patterson clears his throat, begins reading in that same professional voice, but something's different now. There's weight to the words. My dear Jake, if you're hearing this, I'm dead. Probably died doing something stupid like fixing a tractor. Hope I didn't suffer too much. Hope you weren't the one who found me. But knowing you, you probably were. You were always there when I needed you. The words hit like fists. Yes. I found him. Yes. I held his hand. Yes. I told him I loved him when he couldn't hear anymore. Tears start before I can stop them. I don't care. Let them see. I know what you're thinking right now. You're sitting in Patterson's office. Your cousin's got everything. The lake house, the investments, the cars, the money. You got nothing. You're hurt, angry, confused. You're wondering if you ever mattered to me at all. How did he know? How did he know exactly what I'd be feeling in this exact moment? Patterson continues, his voice gentler now. You're also probably thinking about leaving, walking out, never speaking to them again. Don't. Not yet. Because what I'm about to tell you will change everything. The room is absolutely silent. Even Jennifer has stopped fidgeting. Even Marcus has put down his phone. Jake, I didn't leave you the lake house because you don't need a lake house. I didn't leave you the investment portfolio because you just give it away to someone who needed it more. I didn't leave you the cars because you'd sell them and use the money to help some kid fix his truck for free. Every word is true. Exactly what I would do. Grandpa knew me better than I know myself. I didn't leave you those things because they're not who you are. You're not a man who needs things, Jake. You're a man who builds things, fixes things, helps people, just like I tried to be, just like your father was before. Patterson pauses, swallows, continues. Before we lost him, the room tilts. Suddenly, I'm 12 years old again, sitting in a different office, different lawyer, different will. My father's will. The one that left me nothing because he had nothing to leave except debt and a wrecked truck and a family that fell apart. So instead, I'm leaving you something more valuable, something none of them know about, something I built for you over the last 20 years. 20 years. What could he have built for 20 years without anyone knowing? My mind races back through memories. The ranch, the barn, the basement workshop where we spent winters working on engines when it got too cold outside. All those hours together, all those projects. Did I miss something? Was there something right in front of me the whole time? Patterson's voice pulls me back. Under the ranch house, there's a basement. You know it. The one where we used to work on engines during winter when it got too cold in the barn. Remember the south wall? The one with the old tool cabinet, I remember. Heavy wooden cabinet, scarred and stained from decades of use. We'd lean against it while we worked, set our coffee cups on top. I must have stood next to that cabinet 1,000 times. Behind that cabinet is a door. Hidden. You'll need to move the cabinet first. It's heavy. Probably need 2 people. But you're strong. You'll manage. A hidden door. 20 years and I never knew. How many times did I stand right there? How many times did Grandpa watch me work 3 feet from his secret Patterson's reading faster now? Even he's caught up in the story. Behind that door is a workshop. Not just any workshop, my life's work. Everything I built, fixed, restored, and saved over 40 years. Before Susan forced me to sell the ranch business. Before your cousins convinced me to downsize. Before they took everything piece by piece and sold it off. I remember those years. Grandpa getting smaller, quieter. Aunt Susan showing up with her clipboard and her concerned face explaining how he couldn't manage the property anymore. How it was too much for an old man. How they needed to sell the equipment, liquidate the inventory, move him into something more manageable. They took his workshop, his tools, his purpose, said it was for his own good. Lies. I saved what mattered, moved it piece by piece into that hidden room. Took me 3 years. Every time they visited, I pretended to get rid of things. Really, I was hiding them, protecting what I wanted you to have. 3 years of secret work. While they thought they were helping him downsize, he was building me a future. The letter continues. In that room, you'll find 50 years of collection. Tools, equipment, parts, everything a master mechanic needs. But more than that, you'll find 15 fully restored vehicles. Jennifer stands up, chair scraping loud against hardwood. That's impossible. He didn't have those. We inventoried everything when he sold the business. Every vehicle was accounted for. Patterson doesn't stop reading. Classic trucks I bought as junk and rebuilt. Each one perfect. Each one worth between $50,000 and $200,000. Total value somewhere around 1.8 million. The number lands like a bomb, 1.8 million. More than the lake house, more than Marcus's investment portfolio, more than everything they got combined. You're lying, Marcus says. Standing now, too. There's no way. We went through everything, every title, every registration, every... Please sit down, Patterson says quietly. But there's steel underneath the courtesy. I'm not finished. They sit, barely, perched on chair edges like birds ready to fly. But the vehicles aren't the real gift, Jake. The real gift is the workshop itself. It's yours, fully equipped, everything you need to do what you love, what you're good at, fixing things, building things, helping people who can't afford expensive repair shops. My hands are shaking. I grip the armrest harder. This can't be real. 15 vehicles, hidden for years, registered under different names. How did he do it? How did he keep that secret? They never knew because I registered them under different names. Old friends who owed me favors. Men I helped over the years who were happy to return the kindness. Each title is in a fireproof safe in the workshop. All signed over to you, Jake. Clear titles. Legal. Untouchable. Patterson's voice takes on a different quality. Pride, maybe. Admiration for what Grandpa accomplished. I bought the land the workshop is on separately. 5 acres. They think it's part of the ranch that got sold 10 years ago. It's not. I bought it 30 years ago under an LLC. Different name, different company. Patterson has the deed. It's yours. Free and clear. No mortgage. No taxes owed. 5 acres, my own land, my own property. Uncle Robert's face has gone gray. Grayer than before. He's gripping the chair arms like he might fall otherwise. I've also set up a business account. Seed money. $50,000 for parts tools you'll need to replace advertising. Whatever you need to start your own garage. A real one, not working for someone else. Your own place. 50,000. Startup capital. Everything needed to begin. Patterson pulls another document from the envelope. An official certificate. Business registration. Cooper's Restoration and Repair. LLC registered 18 months ago. You're listed as owner and operator. Jake, you just need to sign. 18 months ago, when Grandpa could barely walk, when I was helping him to the bathroom, helping him shower when he got too weak, when we both knew the end was coming. He was still planning, still protecting me, still building my future while his own was ending. I can't breathe properly. The room's spinning. This isn't real, can't be real. Patterson keeps reading. I know you're probably crying right now, Jake. Don't be embarrassed. Real men cry. I cried when your grandmother died. Cried when I had to sell my first workshop. Cried when your father died and I thought I'd lost you too, Dad. Always comes back to Dad. 31 years ago, I was 12. He was driving home from a job site. Tired, it was raining. The truck hit a wet patch on the interstate, slid into oncoming traffic, head-on collision with a semi. He died before the ambulance came. They brought me to identify the body. 12 years old, and they made me look at my father's broken face to confirm it was him. Like I wouldn't know my own dad. Like there was any chance it wasn't him lying there on that metal table. After that, Mom fell apart. Started drinking, started dating, trying to fill the hole Dad left. Within a year, she'd married Frank. Rich Frank with his big house in Phoenix and his country club membership. Frank who didn't want some grieving kid around reminding everyone of tragedy, reminding his new wife of her dead husband. Mom gave me a choice. Not really a choice. Move to Phoenix with them and Frank's two perfect daughters. Be the broken stepson who didn't fit. Or stay with Grandpa on the ranch. I chose Grandpa, or maybe he chose me. Either way, he saved me. Raised me from 12 to 18. Taught me everything. How to fix engines. How to read blueprints. How to weld. How to restore things people thought were beyond saving. How to be a man. How to show up. How to keep promises. How to love someone even when they can't love you back. The letter continues. Grandpa's words reaching across death to hold me together. You stayed with me through all of it, Jake. When your mother remarried and moved away. When your cousins stopped visiting. When everyone said I was too old to live alone. When I got sick and they all wanted to put me in a home. You said no. You moved in. You took care of me. And you did it not because you had to, but because you wanted to. I did. 2 years living in that ranch house. Sleeping in my childhood bedroom with the same posters on the walls from when I was 15. Waking up every 3 hours to check on him. Make sure he was breathing. Make sure he hadn't fallen trying to get to the bathroom alone. Making breakfast. Scrambled eggs and toast because that's all he could keep down toward the end. Helping him shower when he got too weak to stand on his own. Cutting his food into small pieces. Reading to him when his eyes got too bad to see the page. Louis L'Amour westerns, his favorites. Sitting with him at night when the pain was too much to sleep. Just sitting, holding his hand, being there. Diana left because of it. My wife, ex-wife now. The divorce papers came 2 weeks after Grandpa's funeral. Perfect timing. She'd given me an ultimatum 6 months before that. Her or him. Our marriage or my dying grandfather. Choose. I chose Grandpa. She said I was throwing away our future. Said I was choosing an old man over building a life with her. Said she married a mechanic with ambition, not a nursemaid with a martyr complex. Maybe she was right. Maybe I was throwing things away. But I couldn't leave him. Wouldn't. Not after everything he'd done for me. Not after he'd taken in a broken 12-year-old and made him whole. So Diana left. Moved to Denver. Found someone else within 3 months. Someone with a career. Someone who put her first. Someone who wasn't covered in engine grease and regret. The letter continues and Patterson's voice brings me back. That's why you get the workshop, Jake. Not because of blood. Blood didn't earn this. Your cousins have blood. Your uncle has blood. Blood means nothing without presence. You earned this because you showed up. You stayed. You cared when caring was hard. When caring cost you everything. The truth of it sits in my chest, heavy but good, solid like engine block. Patterson pauses, looks up at the others. Their faces have gone through a spectrum. shock to anger to something that might be shame if any of them were capable of it. Now, about your cousins sitting there looking shocked. Jennifer's face goes red. Marcus stops typing. Uncle Robert looks like he might be sick. Jennifer, Marcus, Robert, Susan, all of them, they're going to be angry. They're going to say I was senile, that you manipulated me, that this isn't fair. He's right. I can see it already. Jennifer's mouth opening to form accusations. Marcus's fingers twitching toward his phone to call his lawyer. The storm brewing. Let them be angry. Let them contest it if they want. Patterson has documentation proving my sound mind up until the day I died. Medical records, psychiatric evaluations, video testimony. I prepared for this, Jake. I knew they'd fight. I knew they'd try to take it from you, so I made it impossible. Patterson nods, sets down the letter briefly, pulls out a thick folder from his briefcase, holds it up for everyone to see. Everything's here. Dated, notarized, witnessed. Your grandfather underwent psychiatric evaluation 4 times in the last 2 years. Each time found completely competent, clear-minded, sound judgment. We have video testimony from 6 months ago where he explains his reasoning in detail. 23 minutes of him explaining exactly why he made these choices. We have statements from 3 different doctors confirming mental clarity right up until the end. This will stand up in any court in the country. Jennifer stands again. Her whole body shaking with rage. This is insane. He was sick, old, dying. Jake obviously manipulated him, probably drugged him, made him sign things, made him say things. This whole thing is elder abuse, and we all know it. Mrs. Henderson, Patterson's voice cuts through like a blade. Ice cold. I strongly advise you to be very careful with your accusations. Slander is actionable. Defamation has serious legal consequences. If you continue down this path, I will be forced to recommend that Jake pursue legal action against you. She sits, barely, perched on the edge like she might bolt any second. Marcus speaks instead, calmer, more calculated. That's what makes him dangerous. We have grounds to contest this. Obviously, undue influence, questionable mental state regardless of your evaluations. We have the resources for a lengthy legal battle if that's what's necessary. Years if we have to. And Jake doesn't have the money to fight us. We all know that. Patterson's expression doesn't change. He's dealt with people like Marcus for 40 years, seen every angle, every threat. That is your right, Mr. Cooper. However, I should inform you of a specific clause in your grandfather's will that I haven't read yet. A clause he insisted I save for exactly this moment. He picks up the will again, flips to a page near the end, reads in that flat lawyer voice. In the event that any beneficiary named in this will contest the distribution of assets in any legal manner, including but not limited to claims of undue influence, lack of mental capacity, or procedural irregularities, that beneficiary shall immediately forfeit their entire inheritance. All assets designated to said beneficiary shall instead be donated to the Montana Veterans Association. Silence, complete silence. The trap closes. Fight and lose everything. 800,000, 1.2 million, 400,000, all of it gone, donated to charity or accept it, keep what they got, swallow the rage and move on. Jennifer's breathing hard, face red, hands clenched into fists, but she doesn't speak. Marcus stares at Patterson like he's trying to find the loophole, the angle, the way out. But there isn't one. Grandpa made sure, spent months with Patterson making it airtight, making it impossible to break. Uncle Robert finally speaks, his voice rough, broken, decades of regret finally catching up. Why, just that, one word, but it contains everything. Why did Dad do this? Why did I get left out? Why does Jake get everything? Patterson looks down at the letter, back to Grandpa's words. Your grandfather addressed that specifically. Mr. Cooper, would you like me to continue? Robert nods. Can barely manage that. Patterson reads. Robert, you're my son. I love you. Always have. Always will. That doesn't change. But you left. You built a life in California and forgot where you came from. I don't blame you for chasing dreams, for wanting more than a ranch in Montana, for building a career, a life. But I blame you for forgetting mine. Uncle Robert's shoulders start shaking, quiet sobs he's trying to hide behind his hands. You came back twice in 30 years. Twice. Once for your mother's funeral. Once when you needed money to save your business. Both times you stayed less than 48 hours. Both times you couldn't wait to leave. To get back to your real life, your important life, the one that didn't include your father. Robert's crying openly now, not trying to hide it anymore. I called you every week for 10 years. Every Sunday at 3 o'clock. Do you remember I'd tell you about the ranch, about the weather, about what I was working on? You'd say, uh-huh, and I could hear you typing in the background, working on email while your father tried to stay connected. After 10 years, I stopped calling. You never noticed. The words are surgical, precise, cutting exactly where they need to cut. Patterson continues reading, moving to the next name. Jennifer, Marcus, you're bright kids, smart, successful, everything I hoped you'd be. But somewhere along the way, you started measuring your grandfather by what he could give you instead of who he was. Jennifer's crying now too, mascara running down her face in black streaks. Every visit became a transaction. You'd show up, be nice, laugh at my jokes, ask about my health. Then came the ask. Every single time. Can I borrow money for a car, for a down payment, for an investment opportunity? Can you co-sign this loan? Can you help with this expense? It's all true, every word. I remember the visits, sitting there watching them perform family while calculating the ask, waiting for the right moment to mention the loan, the opportunity, the favor. You saw me as a bank, not a person, not family, just an asset to be managed and leveraged. When I stopped saying yes, you stopped coming. Simple as that. Marcus has put his phone away, staring at his hands like they belong to someone else. The letter moves to the last name. Susan, you're not here. Didn't come to the reading. Too emotional, you said. Too hard. Truth is, you assumed you'd get a check in the mail. Didn't think you needed to show up. That's always been the problem. You meant well, I believe that, but you tried to control everything. Aunt Susan forced Grandpa to sell the ranch business 12 years ago, convinced him he was too old to run it safely. Too much liability, too much risk. Brought in lawyers and accountants who agreed with her, made it seem like selling was the only logical choice. Grandpa sold. The business he'd built over 40 years, gone in 90 days. After that, she started managing his money, his medications, his life. Decided what was best for him without asking what he wanted. Took away his workshop because the tools were dangerous. Put him on medications that made him foggy and slow. Made him feel like a burden. Like he was in the way of her organized, efficient, perfect life. The letter continues. Back to me. But Jake never wanted anything from me. Never asked for money. Never asked for favors. He came to the ranch because he liked being there. Learned to fix engines because he was genuinely interested. Took care of me at the end, not out of obligation, but because he loved me. My throat is too tight, can't swallow, can't breathe right. When everyone else was too busy, Jake showed up. When everyone else had excuses, Jake had time. When everyone else saw a dying old man, Jake saw his grandfather, the person who raised him, the person who mattered. Patterson's voice is thick now. Even he's moved by this. 40 years of reading wills, and he's never seen anything like this. So to everyone wondering if this is fair, I'll say this. Fair isn't equal. Fair isn't splitting everything into even pieces. Fair is giving people what they have earned. And Jake earned this. Every acre, every tool, every vehicle, every dollar. He earned it by being there, by caring, by showing up day after day when showing up cost him everything. The letter ends there. Patterson folds it carefully, but he's not done. There's still another page, separate from the others. There's one more page. Personal note for Jake. Private. Do you want me to continue reading, or would you prefer to take it alone? Alone I manage. My voice barely works. Rough like gravel. He hands me the final page. Yellow paper soft from age. Delicate like it might crumble. I hold it carefully. My vision blurs from tears, but I can still read Grandpa's handwriting. Every shaky letter formed with the last of his strength. Jake. By now they've all left or they're sitting there in angry silence. Either way, you're probably feeling guilty. Don't. You earned every bit of this, not through manipulation, not through taking advantage, through being there, through caring, through showing up. That's worth more than any amount of money. The guilt is already there, heavy in my chest, feeling like I took something from them, like I don't deserve this, like I should give it back somehow. When you go to the workshop, you'll find one more thing. In the back corner, covered with a blue tarp. That's my last restoration project. My masterpiece. A 1967 Chevrolet C10. My hand starts shaking so hard the paper rattles. Your father's truck. The one he died in. The world stops. Everything stops. I bought it from the junkyard 20 years ago. The insurance company totaled it. Said it was scrap. Worthless. Beyond repair. But I couldn't let it go. It was your father's. His truck. Part of him. So I bought it, paid cash, had it delivered to the ranch on a flatbed, 20 years. While I thought he'd moved on. While I thought we never talked about Dad because it hurt too much. While I thought the truck was gone forever, crushed into a cube of metal and memory. Grandpa had it, was working on it, making it whole. I spent 20 years restoring it, Jake. Piece by piece, every panel, every bolt, every wire, every inch of chrome. I found original parts, tracked down pieces from junkyards across 3 states, rebuilt the engine from the block up, restored the interior, the paint, everything. It's perfect now, exactly like it was the day your father bought it. Before the rain, before the accident, before we lost him. Tears fall on the page, blurring the ink. I can't stop them. I want you to have it, not to drive necessarily, not to sell, not even to look at if it hurts too much, but to know that it exists, to know that things can be broken and still be made whole again. That's what you do, Jake. You take broken things and make them whole. You did it with engines, with trucks, with me these last years. You made an old man feel whole again when everyone else made him feel like he was falling apart. The words break something in me. The last wall holding back everything I have been feeling for 3 weeks. For 3 years, for 31 years since Dad died. I sob, don't care who sees, don't care who hears. Let them watch, let them judge. Thank you for being my grandson. Thank you for being you. I love you, Jake. Always did, always will. The signature is barely legible. His handwriting was failing by then. Tremors from the medication. Weakness from the disease eating him from inside. But it's there. Undeniably his. Grandpa. I fold the letter carefully, put it in my shirt pocket, right over my heart where it belongs. Patterson gives me time. Doesn't rush, doesn't speak, just sits there while I cry, while I shake, while I try to process what just happened. The others are leaving one by one. Jennifer first, grabs her purse, walks out without a word. Marcus follows, then Uncle Robert, moving slow like he's aged 10 years in the last hour. Robert pauses at the door, looks back at me, opens his mouth like he wants to say something. But no words come. What could he say? What words could bridge 30 years of absence? He leaves. The door closes. It's just me and Patterson now. He hands me a tissue box. I take several. Wipe my face, blow my nose, try to breathe normally. Try to remember how breathing works. Your grandfather was a remarkable man, Patterson says quietly. In 40 years of practice, I've never seen anyone plan something so carefully, so lovingly. He spent 6 months with me going over every detail, every document, every contingency, making sure it was airtight, making sure you'd be protected. Protected from what? The question comes out rough. From them, from guilt, from doubt. He knew you'd feel bad about this, knew you'd question whether you deserved it. So he made sure you'd understand. The letter, the explanation, the documentation, all of it was designed to protect you from yourself, from your own good heart. I understand now. Grandpa's last gift wasn't the workshop or the money or the vehicles or even Dad's truck. It was permission. Permission to accept it. Permission to not feel guilty. Permission to know that I earned it, that I deserved it, that love and presence and showing up count for something in this world. When can I see the workshop? Whenever you want. I have the keys right here. He pulls them from a desk drawer. Heavy key ring, multiple keys, different sizes. The property is about 20 minutes from here. Rural route off Highway 89. I can drive you if you'd like. Show you where it is. I stand. My legs shake, but they hold. Let's go now. I need to see it. Need to know it's real. We walk to Patterson's car. Black Mercedes, leather interior. He drives smooth, professional, takes back roads I've never been on, through pine forests, past farmland, past places that look familiar but aren't. He bought this land in 1994, Patterson says, breaking the silence. Year after your father passed, used a shell company, Cascade Holdings LLC. Took me years to understand why all the secrecy. Now I get it. He was already planning this, already protecting you, 30 years ago. I was 13, living with Grandpa full-time, learning to rebuild engines in his barn, still raw from losing Dad, still broken from Mom leaving. Grandpa was already thinking 3 decades ahead, already building my future while I was just trying to survive each day. We turn onto a dirt road, barely visible, easy to miss. Trees close in on both sides, branches scraping the car. Another quarter-mile and we reach a gate, heavy steel, electronic lock. Security camera pointed at us. Patterson enters a code on a keypad. The gate swings open. Smooth, silent, expensive hardware. The building sits in a clearing. Looks like a barn from outside. Red metal siding, pitched roof. But the details are wrong. Too new, too precise. Climate control units on the roof. More security cameras. Motion sensors, reinforced doors. This isn't a barn, it's a fortress, a vault. He built this 12 years ago, Patterson explains. Told everyone he was putting up a storage building for hay and equipment. Really, he was building your future. Spent $200,000 on it, all cash. Nobody knew. We get out, walk to the main door. Patterson unlocks it. Heavy door, reinforced steel, fireproof, the kind you'd use to protect something priceless. The door swings open with a hydraulic hiss. Perfectly balanced despite its weight. Must weigh 500 pounds but moves like it's floating. Lights flicker on automatically. Motion sensors, bright white LEDs. And I step into another world. The space is massive, 50 feet by 60 feet at least. High ceiling, 25 feet up. Every wall lined with tool chests, professional grade, Snap-on, Mac tools, Matco, the expensive kind. Organized perfectly, color-coded. Red chest for hand tools, blue for power tools, silver for specialty equipment. Labels on every drawer in Grandpa's handwriting. The floor is epoxy coated, light gray, clean enough to eat off, drain system for spills, air lines running along the walls, Electrical outlets every 6 feet, 220-volt for heavy equipment. In the center of the space, 15 shapes sit covered with custom car covers. Gray canvas, fitted perfectly. Each one different size, different shape. The air smells like oil and metal and possibility. Clean shop smell, the smell of work waiting to be done. I walk to the first covered shape. My hand shakes as I reach for the canvas. Pull it off slowly. 1956 Ford F100, turquoise and white, two-tone paint, chrome gleaming under the lights. Paint so perfect it looks wet. I open the door. Hinges don't make a sound. Perfectly adjusted. Interior is cherry, red and white vinyl. Dashboard restored to factory specs. Original radio converted to Bluetooth. Hidden speakers, everything works. I move to the next cover. Pull it off. 1972, Chevy Blazer, forest green, white removable top, white wall tires, chrome bumpers, lift kit, period correct modifications. The kind people pay $50,000 for at auction. One by one I uncover them, each reveal like Christmas morning, each vehicle perfect. 1969 Camaro SS, red with white racing stripes. 4-speed manual, original 396 engine rebuild. Dyno tune, headers, dual exhaust, the sound it would make. 1970 Plymouth Barracuda, plum crazy purple, black interior, shaker hood, original hemi-clone. Every detail right. 1955 Chevy Bel Air, two-tone blue and white, original 265 V8, 3-speed manual, chrome everything, paint like glass. 1958 Apache pickup, black and chrome, custom bed, lowered, slammed on air ride, modern touches done tastefully. 1967 Mustang Fastback, Highland Green, Steve McQueen Bullet Tribute, 5-speed swap, disc brakes, modern suspension, drives like new. 1971 El Camino SS Gold with black stripes, black interior, 454 big block. Cowl hood, stance perfect. 1963 Corvette Stingray, silver, split window coupe, matching numbers, original engine rebuilt, concourse quality. 1948 Ford F1, burgundy, flathead 5.8, original patina mixed with restoration, perfect balance of old and new. 1970 Chevelle SS cranberry red, white stripes, LS 6454, 4-speed, 12-bolt rear, factory correct. 1965 Ford Galaxy, powder blue, white top, 390 engine, cruise night classic, show quality. 1969 Dodge Charger, B5 blue, white interior, 440 engine, restored frame off, perfect. 1957 Bel Air, red and white, fuel injected 350, overdrive transmission, drives anywhere. 1968 Firebird, Verdoro green, Ram Air, 4-speed, original Survivor restored right. 15 vehicles, each one perfect, each one worth between $50,000 and $200,000 depending on model and condition. Total value somewhere north of 1.5 million, maybe closer to 2. But that's not what makes me cry again. Standing there surrounded by them, it's the care, the hours, the love that went into each restoration. Grandpa did this, while everyone thought he was just a lonely old man fading away, while they were taking his business in his workshop in his dignity. He was building this, building my future, giving me everything he knew I'd need. Patterson stands by the door, watching, letting me process. I walk through the rows slowly, running my hands over paint, chrome, glass, opening hoods, checking engine bays, every detail perfect, every restoration done right, the way Grandpa taught me, the way he always worked. No shortcuts, no compromises, just perfection. Each vehicle has a leather folder on the front seat. I opened one, 1956 F100. Inside is the title, signed over to me, notarized, clear, also maintenance records, build sheets, photos of the restoration process, year-by-year documentation. Grandpa photographed everything. I check another folder, same thing, title in my name, records, photos, every vehicle documented, legal, ready to register. In the back corner, I see it. The largest tarp, different color, blue instead of gray, separate from the others. My hands shake as I reach for it, worse than before because I know what's under here. The letter told me, but knowing and seeing are different things. I pull the tarp off slowly, inch by inch, revealing what's underneath. 1967 Chevrolet C10, blue, not just any blue, exact shade I remember from childhood. The color that haunts my dreams. The color I see every time I close my eyes and think about Dad. The truck looks brand new, better than new, paint flawless, deep blue metallic, clear coat like glass, chrome perfect, bumpers, grille, trim, everything gleaming, every dent gone, every scratch erased, every imperfection removed. It's exactly like it was the day Dad bought it. Before the rain, before the wet road, before the semi, before the collision that took him away, before 12-year-old me had to identify his body, before everything fell apart. I circle it slowly, touch the fender, cool metal, smooth paint, the hood, the door handle, original chrome, restored to perfection. Open the door. The bench seat, brown vinyl, original pattern, stitching perfect, professional restoration. I slide onto the seat, Dad's seat, the seat he was sitting in when he died. But it doesn't feel like death anymore. Doesn't smell like death. It smells like new leather, fresh paint, clean metal. It smells like restoration, like redemption, like things made whole. I sit there, hands on the steering wheel, the same wheel Dad held, the same wheel that was pulled from wreckage 31 years ago, straightened, re-chromed, made new. The keys are in the ignition. There's a note on the steering wheel, folded paper, one last note from Grandpa. I pick it up, unfold it, same shaky handwriting. Jake, this truck survived, against all odds, against logic, against everything that should have destroyed it. It survived, and it can be made whole again. Just like you, just like me, just like anyone who's been broken by life. Drive it, use it, remember him. But don't live in the past. Don't let this truck be a shrine to grief. Let it be a reminder that broken things can be fixed, that destroyed things can be restored, that nothing is beyond saving if you care enough, if you work hard enough, if you refuse to give up. I believe in you, Jake, always have. Now you need to believe in yourself, build your future, help people, fix things, make the world a little better, one engine at a time. That's what your father would have wanted. That's what I want. That's what you were born to do. The signature again. Grandpa, barely legible but unmistakably his. I fold the note, put it with the letter in my shirt pocket, both of them right over my heart. Then I turn the key. The engine catches immediately, purrs, perfect tune, Grandpa's work. The man could make any engine sing. Smooth, idle, no knock, no miss, just power waiting to be used. I sit there listening to it, feeling the slight vibration through the seat, the same vibration Dad must have felt thousands of times, driving to work, driving home, driving me to school, driving our family before the accident shattered everything. And finally, I let myself cry for real. Not sad crying, not grief, something else, something bigger, something I don't have words for. Relief maybe, or release, or resurrection, or all three mixed together. I cry for Dad, for dying too young, for never seeing me grow up, for missing everything. I cry for Grandpa, for taking me in, for raising me, for building this across 20 years, for loving me enough to plan decades ahead, for dying before I could thank him properly. I cry for myself, for all the years I thought I wasn't good enough, for all the times that I thought I was alone, for every moment I believed I didn't matter, for the marriage that failed, for the life that fell apart, for everything I thought I'd lost. I cry until there's nothing left, until I'm empty and somehow full at the same time. Then I turn off the engine. The silence feels sacred. I close the door gently, cover the truck again with the blue tarp. Careful, reverent. Not ready to drive it yet? Maybe never. Maybe that's not the point. The point is it exists. The point is Grandpa spent 20 years making broken things whole, teaching me one last lesson without words, showing me what's possible when you refuse to give up on something, when you love something enough to restore it piece by piece. Everything can be saved. Everything can be restored. Even things that seem destroyed beyond repair. Even me. I walk back through the workshop, past the 15 restored vehicles, past the perfectly organized tools, past the equipment I'll use to build my own future, my own business, my own life. Patterson is still waiting by the door, patient, respectful. He doesn't ask if I'm okay. He can see I am, can see something has shifted. There's paperwork to sign, he says, business registration, property deed, vehicle titles, bank accounts, whenever you're ready. Tomorrow, I tell him, voice rough but steady, I'll come to your office tomorrow morning. He nods, hands me the keys, heavy ring, keys to the workshop, keys to the gate, keys to the vehicles, keys to my future. He was very proud of you, Patterson says. Talked about you constantly. Every meeting we had, every phone call, Jake this, Jake that, said you were the only one who understood what really mattered. What's that? Showing up, doing the work, loving people even when it's hard, even when it costs you everything. I lock the workshop. The heavy door closes with that hydraulic hiss, sealed tight. Everything inside protected, everything waiting for me to begin. We drive back in comfortable silence. Patterson drops me at my truck in the law office parking lot, shakes my hand. Welcome to your future, Jake. I drive home to the small apartment I've been renting. One bedroom, cramped, cheap furniture. Not much, but it's mine. Or it was. I'll give notice tomorrow. Start looking for something closer to the workshop. Maybe buy something. I can afford it now. The letter is still in my pocket. I take it out, sit on my couch, read it again and again, memorizing every word, every shaky letter, every piece of wisdom Grandpa left me. They didn't leave you nothing. They left you everything. He was right. The lake house, the investments, the cars, those are nothing things, objects that will be sold or squandered or lost eventually. But this, the workshop, the tools, the business, the restored vehicles, Dad's truck, this is everything. This is legacy. This is love made solid. This is a whole life's work handed down to someone who'll actually use it, someone who'll honor it, someone who'll keep building, keep fixing, keep making broken things whole. I sit there in my apartment as the sun goes down, thinking about tomorrow, about signing papers, about starting the business, about opening Cooper's restoration and repair, about doing what I was born to do, helping people, fixing things, restoring what's broken, making the world a little better one engine at a time. They got millions, but I got everything that matters. Tomorrow, I'll start proving it. Tonight, I'll sleep for the first time in months without that weight on my chest, without wondering if I mattered, without questioning if I was enough, because Grandpa answered that question, spent 20 years answering it, built me a workshop full of answers, left me a letter spelling it out. I mattered. I was enough. I am enough. And tomorrow, I'll start showing the world what that means. I fold the letter carefully, put it in a frame I bought years ago, hang it on the wall where I'll see it every morning, where I'll remember. Then I sit down and do something I haven't done since the funeral. I write a letter of my own. Dear Grandpa, thank you for everything, for taking me in when Mom left, for teaching me everything you knew, for showing me what it means to be a man, for planning my future when I couldn't see past the next day, for loving me enough to build me a workshop, for restoring Dad's truck, for the letter, for the permission to accept it, for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. I promise I won't waste it. I promise I'll build something good, something that honors you, something that helps people. I promise I'll keep fixing things, keep making broken things whole, just like you taught me. I love you, I miss you, and I'll make you proud. Your grandson, Jake. I fold it, put it in an envelope. No address, nowhere to send it, but it doesn't matter. He knows. Wherever he is, he knows. I sleep that night better than I have in years. No nightmares, no waking up in panic, just deep, dreamless sleep. Rest I haven't had since before Grandpa got sick. The next morning, I wake up early, shower, put on clean clothes, drive to Patterson's office. The paperwork takes 2 hours. Signing documents, transferring titles, opening bank accounts, making everything official, making it real. When it's done, Patterson hands me a leather folder. Everything organized. Deeds, titles, business registration, bank information, insurance policies, all of it. You're all set, he says. Cooper's Restoration and Repair is officially open for business. I shake his hand, thank him, drive straight to the workshop. The gate opens with my code now. My property, my land, my future. I unlock the workshop, step inside, turn on all the lights, stand there in the middle of 15 restored vehicles and 50 years of tools and equipment. This is mine, all of it, earned through showing up, through caring, through being there when being there was hard. I pull the cover off the 1956 F-100, turquoise and white, beautiful. I'll photograph it today, list it for sale, start generating income, start building the business. But first I walk to the back corner, pull the blue tarp off Dad's truck, sit in the driver's seat, turn the key, listen to the engine. I sit there for a long time, just listening, just feeling, just being. Then I turn it off, cover it back up. Not ready yet, maybe someday, but not today. Today I start building, start working, start doing what I was born to do. I grab a camera, start photographing vehicles, writing descriptions, researching values, making plans. Cooper's Restoration and Repair opens today. Not with a grand announcement, not with advertising, just with work, just with me doing what Grandpa taught me. Fixing things, restoring things, making broken things whole. By noon, I have 3 vehicles listed online. By evening, I have 2 serious inquiries. By the end of the week, I'll make my first sale. The business grows from there. Slowly at first, then faster. Word spreads. Guy in Montana who does quality work. Fair prices, honest. The kind of mechanic you can trust. People bring me their projects, their broken dreams, their vehicles that other shops said couldn't be fixed. And I fix them one by one, engine by engine, restoration by restoration. 6 months later, I've sold 8 of the 15 vehicles, banked 400,000, reinvested 200,000 in the business. Better equipment, more tools, advertising, a website. I hire my first employee, kid named Tommy, 19. Reminds me of myself at that age. Good hands, good heart, wants to learn. I teach him everything Grandpa taught me. A year later, the business is thriving. Cooper's Restoration has a waiting list. 3 months out for basic work. 6 months for full restorations. I hire 2 more people. Rent increases. Good problems. I buy a house 10 minutes from the workshop. 3 bedrooms, garage, land, room to breathe. First house I've ever owned. The divorce finalizes. Diana gets half of what I earned during the marriage. Almost nothing. The workshop came after. She has no claim. She tries anyway. Fails. Moves on. I don't date, don't have time, don't have interest. The business is enough. The work is enough. Uncle Robert calls one day. 18 months after the funeral, after the will, after everything. Jake, he says, his voice sounds old, tired. I've been thinking about what Dad said, about the letter. He was right, about all of it. I want to apologize, want to try to be family again. If you'll let me. We talk for an hour. He cries. I cry. We don't fix 30 years in one conversation. But we start. We make plans to meet, to try. He visits a month later, flies to Montana, spends a week. We work on a truck together. 1965 Mustang, customer job. Robert's hands remember. Muscle memory from working with Grandpa 50 years ago. We talk while we work, about Dad, about Grandpa, about the years we lost, about the years we might still have. It's not perfect. It's messy, complicated, but it's real. It's family. It's something. Jennifer never calls, never reaches out. I see her on social media sometimes. The lake house is exactly what I thought it would be. White walls, modern furniture, nothing of Grandpa left. She poses there in expensive clothes, hundreds of likes, thousands of followers, empty life wrapped in expensive packaging. Marcus lost half his inheritance in a bad investment. His marriage fell apart. He moved to Florida, started over. I heard through family he's doing okay now. Humbler, quieter, maybe better. I hope so. 2 years after the funeral, I get a letter from Aunt Susan, handwritten, 7 pages. She apologizes for everything, for taking Grandpa's workshop, for the medications, for making him feel like a burden, for not coming to the will reading, for assuming she'd get her inheritance without showing up. For everything, she asked for forgiveness, not for money, not for anything, just forgiveness. I write back, 2 pages. I forgive her. Mean it. We don't become close. Probably never will. But the wound starts healing slowly. 3 years after the funeral, I get a customer request. Restore a 1967 C10. Blue, exact shade the customer specifies. Sends me a photo. It's the same blue as Dad's truck. The same blue as the truck covered in my workshop. I take the job, spend 6 months on it, make it perfect, just like Grandpa taught me. When it's done, the customer comes to pick it up. Older man, maybe 70. He sees it and cries. This was my son's truck, he says. He died in an accident 20 years ago. I've been looking for one to restore ever since. To remember him, to have something of his back. I understand, I tell him. I understand exactly. We talk for an hour about loss, about restoration, about sons, about trucks, about making broken things whole. He drives away in the blue C10, happy, healed a little. And I realize something. This is what Grandpa meant. This is the work. Not just fixing trucks, fixing people, giving them back pieces of what they lost, Making broken things whole. That night, I go to the workshop, pull the blue tarp off Dad's truck, sit in it, turn the key, listen to the engine. I'm ready now. I drive it out of the workshop, into the sunlight. First time it's seen sun in 3 years. First time it's moved under its own power since Grandpa finished the restoration. I drive through town, past the old ranch, past the places Dad used to take me, past the life we had before the accident. It doesn't hurt the way I thought it would. It feels right, like Dad's with me, like Grandpa's with me, like they've been with me all along. I drive to the cemetery, park between their graves, Grandpa on one side, Dad on the other. I sit there for a long time. Windows down, engine running, just being with them. Thank you, I say out loud. To both of them, to the sky, to whoever's listening. Thank you for everything. I won't waste it, I promise. The sun sets, I drive home, park the truck in my garage, my house, my land, my life. 4 years after the funeral, Cooper's restoration is known across the country. People ship vehicles from California, from Texas, from New York. Want me to restore them, want my work, want what Grandpa taught me. I'm successful. Not rich like Jennifer and Marcus were supposed to be, but successful, comfortable, building something that matters, something that helps people, something that lasts. I finally start dating. Meet a woman named Rachel. She's a teacher, kind, smart, doesn't care about money, cares about people. We take it slow, no rush, no pressure, just seeing where it goes. She meets me at the workshop one day, sees the vehicles, the tools, the business, sees Dad's truck covered in the corner. What's that one, she asks. My father's truck, I tell her. The whole story, the accident, Grandpa's restoration, the 20 years of work, the letter, everything. She cries, holds my hand, understands. Can I see it, she asks. I pull off the tarp, show her. She runs her hands over the paint, the chrome. Beautiful, she says. Your grandfather must have loved you very much. He did, I tell her. He really did. 5 years after the funeral, when Uncle Robert and I restore a truck together, his project, his money, but we do the work together, side by side, like he used to do with Grandpa, like Grandpa used to do with me. It takes us 6 months. 1970 Chevelle, his dream car. We rebuild it from the frame up. Every night after I close the shop, every weekend, just us, working, talking, rebuilding more than just a car. When it's done, we take it to the cemetery, park it between the graves. 3 generations of Cooper men standing there. 2 alive, 2 dead, all connected by engines and love and the work of making broken things whole. Robert cries, I cry. We talk about Grandpa, about what he built, about what he gave us, about the letter, about the lesson. Fair isn't equal, Robert says, quoting Grandpa's letter. Fair is giving people what they've earned. He earned it, I say, meaning Grandpa earned his peace, earned his rest, earned the right to leave this world knowing he had built something that mattered, something that would last. We stand there until the sun sets, then drive our trucks home. His Chevelle, my C10, both perfectly restored, both running like new, both carrying memories and love and the weight of family. 7 years after the funeral, I marry Rachel. Small ceremony. Uncle Robert walks me down the aisle, gives me away. Family doing what family does. We buy a bigger house, room for kids someday, room for a family, room for a future. The business keeps growing. I hire more people, good people, teach them what Grandpa taught me, pass it on, keep the knowledge alive. Tommy, my first hire, is running his own jobs now. Full restorations, customer builds. He's good, better than good. Grandpa would be proud. 10 years after the funeral, I'm 43. Same age I was when Grandpa died. Full circle. I have a wife, a house, a successful business, a life I built from nothing, from a letter, from permission to accept love and legacy and the knowledge that I mattered. Cooper's Restoration employs 12 people now. We're booked 18 months out. We've restored over 200 vehicles, helped hundreds of people get back pieces of their past, made broken things whole. I still have Dad's truck, still drive it sometimes, mostly just around town, to the cemetery, to visit Grandpa and Dad, to remember where I came from, who built me, who saved me. The workshop still has 6 of the original 15 vehicles. I kept them, not for money, for memory, for the connection to Grandpa, for proof that broken things can be made whole. One day, Rachel tells me she's pregnant. We're having a son. We name him William, after Grandpa, after the man who saved me, who built me a future when everyone else saw me as nothing. When William is born, I take him to the cemetery, introduce him to his great-grandfather, to his grandfather, tell them about him, about the future, about the family continuing. Your great-grandpa built all this, I tell baby William. Built it for us. Built it because he believed in showing up, in doing the work, in loving people even when it's hard. I'm going to teach you the same things. How to fix engines, how to restore things, how to make broken things whole, not just trucks, people, lives, everything. And someday I'll tell you about the letter, about the workshop, about the day I thought I had nothing and found out I had everything, about the day I learned that fair isn't equal, that love is measured in presence, not presence, that showing up matters more than anything else. William grows. I teach him. Start him young like Grandpa started me. 3 years old and he's handing me tools. 5 years old and he's learning engine parts. 7 years old and he's turning wrenches. He loves it, has the same hands I had, the same interest, the same gift for seeing how things fit together. Grandpa's gift passes down, generation to generation. Knowledge and love and the understanding that broken things can be made whole. 15 years after the funeral, I'm teaching William to rebuild his first engine. Small block Chevy 350, perfect starter project. Same engine Grandpa taught me on. Same engine Dad learned on before that. 3 generations. Same lessons. Same love. Same work. William's hands are small but sure. He follows instructions, asks questions, learns fast. We work late into the night, just us. The shop quiet except for the sound of tools and breathing and the occasional question. Why did great-grandpa build all this? William asks, meaning the workshop, the business, the legacy. Because he loved me, I tell him. Because he believed in me when nobody else did. Because he knew that broken things can be made whole. And he wanted to make sure I knew it too. William nods, thinks about it, keeps working. We finish the engine at midnight. I fire it up. Perfect. No leaks, no misses, just smooth power. William's face lights up. Pride, accomplishment, the same feeling I had when Grandpa and I finished our first engine together. You did good, I tell him. Great-grandpa would be proud. I know, William says. Simple certainty. He is proud. I can feel it. And I realize he's right. Grandpa is proud. Wherever he is watching somehow, seeing his great-grandson learn the same lessons, carry on the same work, keep the legacy alive. 20 years after the funeral, I'm 53. William is 10, already better with engines than most adults. The business is still thriving. Cooper's Restoration is known worldwide now. We ship vehicles to collectors in Europe, in Asia, in Australia, but we never forget where we started. Never forget what matters. Helping people, fixing things, making broken things whole. Uncle Robert passes away. Heart finally gives out. He's 78. We restore his Chevelle one more time before the funeral. Make it perfect. Drive it in the procession. At the cemetery, I park it between Grandpa and Dad. 3 generations of Cooper men together again, all at peace. I miss you, I tell Robert. Tell all of them. Thank you for teaching me. Thank you for saving me. Thank you for everything. William stands next to me, holds my hand, learning about loss, about love, about family, about how the people who matter never really leave. They live on in what they taught you, in what they built, in what they gave you. 25 years after the funeral, William is 15, already running his own jobs, customer builds, simple restorations. He's gifted, natural, born for this work like I was. Rachel and I have 3 kids now, William and 2 daughters, Emma and Sarah, all learning the business, all learning the lessons, all carrying forward what Grandpa started. The original workshop is too small now. We've expanded twice, built a second building, hired 30 employees. Cooper's restoration is an empire now, but it's still family, still based on the same principles Grandpa taught me. Show up, do the work, love people, fix things, make broken things whole. I still have the letter, still read it sometimes, especially on hard days, when I need reminded, when I need to know I matter, when I need to hear Grandpa's voice. They didn't leave you nothing. They left you everything. He was right. They left me everything that matters. 30 years after the funeral, I'm 63, same age Grandpa was when I moved in with him after Dad died. William runs the business now. I work when I want, teach when I want. Mostly I spend time with Rachel, with the grandkids, with family. The business employs 50 people, 3 locations, Montana, Colorado, and Texas, all teaching the same lessons, all doing the same work, all making broken things whole. I still have Dad's truck, still drive it, still keep it perfect. William learned to drive in it. His kids will too. The workshop is a museum now, the original building, preserved exactly like Grandpa left it, open to the public 1 day a week. People come from all over to see it, to hear the story, to understand what love and legacy look like in physical form. I give tours sometimes, tell people about Grandpa, about the letter, about the day I thought I had nothing, about learning I had everything. Some people cry, most people understand. Everyone leaves different than they came, changed by the story, inspired by the lesson. Fair isn't equal, love is measured in presence. Showing up matters. Broken things can be made whole. I'm old now, not ancient, but old enough to understand what Grandpa understood. That legacy isn't measured in money. It's measured in what you build, who you teach, what you leave behind. Grandpa left me everything. Not because I was related, because I showed up, because I cared, because I was there, and I'm leaving William everything. The business, the knowledge, the lessons, the understanding that broken things can be made whole. The cycle continues, generation to generation. Cooper men fixing things, helping people, making the world a little better one engine at a time. Some nights I sit in Dad's truck, in my garage, engine running, just listening, just remembering. I think about the letter, about Grandpa's words, about the day my life changed. I think about the funeral, the will reading, the shock, the tears, the revelation. I think about building the business, teaching William, creating something that matters, something that lasts. And I realized Grandpa was teaching me one final lesson, the most important lesson. Things don't make you rich. Love makes you rich. Presence makes you rich. Legacy makes you rich. I had nothing and I had everything. Just depended on how you measured it. Jennifer has her lake house. Marcus has whatever's left of his investments. They have things. I have family. I have purpose. I have legacy. I have the knowledge that I matter, that I showed up, that I did the work. I have everything that counts, and when I die, William will read these same words to his son. We'll pass down the same lessons. We'll continue the same work, making broken things whole. That's what we do. That's who we are. That's what Grandpa taught me. That's what I'm teaching William. That's the real inheritance. Not money, not things, but knowledge, purpose, love. The knowledge that broken things can be made whole, that nothing is beyond saving if you care enough, that showing up matters more than anything else, that fair isn't equal, that you're measured not by what you own, but by what you do. That legacy isn't what you leave behind. It's what you build into the people you love. Grandpa built all this into me. I'm building it into William. William will build it into his kids. The cycle continues, the work continues, the love continues forever because they didn't leave me nothing. They left me everything.